In this video, I'm going to show you how to use functions within Google Sheets. All and more coming up. Hey there and welcome back to another video of Measure School teaching you the data-driven way of digital marketing. My name is Julian and today we want to talk about functions within Google Sheets. Now functions are really just little instructions that you can give to Google Sheets to do more data analysis for you on the fly. And today we're going to go into a basic example on how to use functions for your needs within Google Sheets. But if you want to get more advanced, there is actually a video we did with David on the functions that you need to know within Google Sheets for marketers. Check out this video as well. Now we got lots to cover, so let's dive in. Welcome back to our spreadsheet. In this lesson, we're going to talk about functions within Google Sheets. Now, functions are basically like little instructions that you give to Google Sheets, and they can do various tasks for you, one of them being math. Now, where do we find functions within Google Sheets? We have this bar up here that actually gets filled by whatever we have in this cell at the moment. Whatever we mark here will be also appearing up here. Or we can actually fill this as well with a function. So what is a function? How do you write a function? You always precede a function with an equal sign, and then you can enter a function's name or instructions that Google Sheets should execute for you. Now there are different instructions that you could put in. The easiest one being a simple math formula like 1 + 1. Hit enter and it will automatically calculate that number for you and fill it into your cell within Google Sheets. So in that sense, functions are like a calculator. You can type in any kind of mathematical function and Google Sheets will spit that out for you in the cell. Now to make this a bit more dynamic, we could actually calculate different numbers that we see on this sheet. So for example, you could enter this number here. I'm just going to click on this cell and put a plus sign here and calculate this second cell and just click on it as well. So I put a plus sign here and now it will calculate the C2 cell with the C3 cell. When I press enter, we see it will just calculate the numbers together. It will summate them. And we see here that our first two products that have most of the revenue make up around $100,000 in revenue in the store. So two use cases here. We can calculate numbers with functions. We can also reference cells with functions to make it more dynamic. So if this number changes, for example, to 1, we would actually have a new value in here because this actually automatically updates and calculates from the C2 and the C3 cell right here. I'll go back here. And we still have our value in here. Now there are actual instructions, shorthands that can operate in a more sophisticated manner. And this is where the real functions within Google Sheets actually come to play. An example of that, to do the same thing, would be the sum function. So all you need to do is start typing sum right here, and we get different functions that we can choose from. We'll go with the sum function. And it will give us a little dialog here of what input this function takes. It will give us back. Now we also have this handy link here that will always give us an idea on how this actually works, different use cases. So if you find yourself wanting to know a little bit more about the function, I would definitely check that out. But with this, we can go ahead again and input our cells, for example, the value 1 and the value 2. So in our case, just click on the value that we want to calculate. And we'll put in a comma for the value 2. Let's click on it again. And let's close this off with closing the parentheses. So our input is always inside of these parentheses. And we'll press enter. And again, we get the same value, this time with a shorthand of a function. So we have basically done our operation with this shorthand here too. Now you might remember in the last lesson, we actually also had the ability to mark these two cells and then go down here and see the quick function already have calculated this also. There are different methods of getting to the same result within Google Sheets, but functions are really handy when it comes to calculating data, making it dynamic within your sheet. And this obviously also works on a massive scale. So if you get rid of this and go down to our sheet, I'm going to press the Control key here and press down. So we go to the last row of our sheet. And here we now want to enter the sum of all these products, so all the revenue that we have made in this time period. How can we do this? Well, easily with the sum function. You just type in again the equal sign, then sum, And in our parentheses, we're gonna now not click on each and every value here, but press the up arrow, hold shift pressed and go up like this. This will mark our range. And every time I click on the up arrow, it will go further up. Now I can also press the command key while I'm doing this, which will mark the whole column here. Now I actually don't want to include that header row, so I'm just gonna go back here and press C2, press the enter button, and here we get our total revenue for all these different rows. Now the cool thing about functions is that you can copy them over, so you could Control C this whole cell and go to the next cell here. So these are the unique purchases, and copy that in, Control V, and we'll copy that function and actually change the reference here to the cells in this column. The other ability would be to use that little rectangle down below in the cell, which will give you a different mouse pointer. And once you click and drag, you can actually copy over that cell to many different other cells. So for example, here, you could just copy this over. Now this sometimes makes sense, but in other instances, it might not actually work. So for example, here, the basket to detail ratio is not something that is represented in dollars. So the summation function actually doesn't work here. But there's another function that would make sense here for the basket to detail ratio. And there's another function that we could use. This is the average function. So the shorthand here, let's type in average. To fill this actually, I'm going to press the escape key just to go back to the old sum here. And I'm just going to change the sum to the average. And again, we get a value here. Now this value is still in dollars, so we would need to change it to percentage. Here we can format our values. So here we get an average basket to detail ratio of 126, which is kind of impossible, but you see that there are values that have far greater percentages here. So technically it's correct. We would need to clean that data in order to get rid of these few negatives here that actually don't make sense. Then we should get the right basket to detail ratio. Nonetheless, this function actually works and is operational. Same should be for the buy to detail ratio. So let's copy that over. That is 0. Well, the whole column is 0, so this actually makes sense. Then we have here our product refunds. We have our average quantity, which actually is also from a format perspective just a number. So just go with this. And average price, quantity, unique purchases. Okay, so we have quickly summed up all our columns here with functions. Now, to be honest, there are many more functions that are very useful for doing operations within Google Sheets. This is just an introduction to functions in Google Sheets. If you want to find out more about this, we have a video by David who has showed us which functions every marketer should know when he's doing analysis within Sheets. So check that out as well. And I hope this lesson helped you to get a grasp on what functions are, how to use them, and give you a reason to explore them a little further. Alright, so there you have it. This is how you can use functions, and this is the basic functionality of functions within Google Sheets. Now again, you can use more advanced functionalities. I hope this gave you some ideas. Check out our video from David as well on this channel on how to use functions as a marketer and what are the most important functions that you might need to know as a marketer as well. Now, if you like this video, then give us a thumbs up and also follow along with our next video right over there, and also subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, because we're bringing you new videos just like this one every week. Now, my name is Julian. Till next time.